With baseball, football, and with baseball, basketball, and hockey, it's series. That's the difference. Why isn't the Pro Bowl in the middle of the season? I've been asking that for years. All other leagues have their All-Star game in the middle of the season, right?
Yeah. Pro Bowl comes a week after Super Bowl.
Right. So why doesn't the NFL do that? I'll tell you why. Because nobody in their right mind would play in that game because they're afraid they get hurt and screw their team.
So every other sport does it for a different reason.
I don't know why they do it. It's just the way it is. The way it always has been. Right?
Maybe the way it'll always be.
As far as I can remember, I'm 47 years old. As far as I can remember, it's been like that in all leagues. NFL has it at the end. All the others have it in the middle. Except when the Winter Olympics are here. Do they still have the All-Star game in hockey?
I was just trying to remember that, and I believe that the Olympic break was separate from the All-Star break. There was still an All-Star break, and then there was the Olympic break.
Really? Okay, so they get a double break. So the people who aren't playing in the Olympics get to take a little break if they're hurt, get a little rest, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And before you leave, we are going to talk some hockey because you're here, and we have to.
You're going to be testing my knowledge here. I haven't been able to follow as closely as I like, but we'll give it a whirl.
Well, that makes two of us because, I count on you to fill me in on what's going on. Because I also have that NHL Real Talk site. See?
That's right.
NHLRealTalk.com. Go over there. Another social media site you can become a free member of and put your own favorite team stories or person stories up on the site.
I was just checking it out, actually. It looks pretty cool. NHLRealTalk.com.
Yeah, it's a great site. I love it. NHLRealTalk.com, NFLRealTalk.com, MLBRealTalk.com, and NBARealTalk.com. There you go. They're all there for your enjoyment. And then also, don't forget about Sports World Radio's sister station, SportsWorldRadio.info. Don't forget about that one. They're all there for your enjoyment. Okay, so what's going on in the world of hockey, my friend?
Well, first of all, the New York Rangers are getting try number 2 at christening their new barn, or their newly refurbished barn. I'm not sure if you heard about this. The price tag on the renovations at Madison Square Gardens were in excess of $1 billion.
Yeah, I know, because not only did they have to do it right for hockey, but they had to do it right for basketball, too.
That's correct. Mm-hmm. Interesting thing about the Madison Square Gardens, if you've never been there.
Not square. It's round.
It's not square. It's round, and the court or the rink is like on the 7th floor.
Yeah, I know. Parking's underneath.
I've bet.
Been there. I've been there. Not only I've been there for a basketball game. I've been there for a hockey game. I've been there for the circus. I've been there for a concert.
Got them all covered, just about.
Yeah, pretty much. And when I went for the concert, it was AC/DC, and I was still living in New York at the time.
That's a good concert to be at.
I think I was 16 or 17 years old.
Back in black. Have a drink on me.
Yeah, Madison Square Garden, right? We get all the way to Madison Square Garden. We get parking. We park underneath the garden. Okay, you got the garden, then the parking's down underneath, man. Underneath the garden, and we get there, and I'm like, holy shit, I forgot the tickets. I forgot the fucking tickets. How about that?
So, did you have to go back?
No, I left them in the car, thank God.
Oh, okay, so you only had to go back to the car.
I had to go back, we got all the way up there, and they said tickets, and I'm like, uh-oh. So we went back to the car and looked, and they were sitting in the car where I was sitting. I was like, whew.
Could have been worse. You could have left them in Jersey.
New York. One of my favorite concerts of all time. One of my favorite. And what did the New York Islanders play before they move right now? I saw Pink Floyd over there. How about
that? In Nassau Coliseum.
I'm old, man.
Was it called Nassau Coliseum back then?
Yes, it was called the Nassau Coliseum back then. What is it called now?
I don't even know. I can't keep up.
It's not going to matter. They're moving to freaking Brooklyn anyway.
Exactly. Are they going to be called the Brooklyn Islanders?
I believe so, which is ridiculous. But did you get ESPN, our ESPN out there in Canada?
We do get feeds of ESPN, yes.
Okay, there is a show on E60, or their 30 and 30 that they do.
I've seen 30 and 30.
It's either 30 and 30. I think it's E60. Okay, it's called Big Shot. It's about the New York Islanders in the 80s.
4 Stanley Cups in a row.
You have to see it. About the owner Spano.
Yeah.
You, hockey man, you have to see it. It's called Big Shot. It's freaking awesome. And I remember those days. I was watching that going, wow, yeah, I remember all this. You have to see it. You will enjoy the living crap out of it. I'm telling you, if you're a hockey fan, you'll enjoy it. Especially, I know you'll enjoy it. I was a big Islander fan back then. Huge Islander fan with Bossy and all those guys. Huge Islander fan. And it's about the owner, Spano, and how he acquired the team without a dime in his pocket. It's pretty awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty freaking awesome. He got the bank to loan him $80 million. It's
wild.
With fake documents and everything. It's pretty freaking wild. You have to check it out. It's called Big Shot. I highly recommend it. It's really good. All right, let's get into some NHL talk.
All right, so I've got a quick correction already. The New York Rangers are not playing in Madison Square Gardens tonight. That was last night. They were shut out by the Montreal Canadiens 2-0 in their home opener. By the way, they had been on the road for 9 games to start the season. Not a very good record for the New York Rangers. They are in Uniondale tonight, playing in the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum. So there you go. They still have the name Nassau attached to it.
Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum?
That's correct.
Oh, my God.
And guess where I got that information from?
Where?
NHLRealTalk.com.
There you go. You gotta love it.
All right. So the Rangers are leading 1-0, and this is in the first period of play. A goal from Chris Kreider on the power play.
Yeah,
Brad Richards and Derek Stepan. Anyways, that's the quick highlight there for the New York Rangers, who are suffering a very, very poor start to the season. I don't think they've had a poor start like this in a long time.
Why? Where are they?
At the bottom.
Really?
They have 6 points. They have 6 points in 10 games played. They have the worst record in the NHL, other than Buffalo, who has 5.
Wow, that's kind of bad, huh?
Yeah, kind of bad.
It's still the beginning of the season.
Well, that Metropolitan Division, everything seems to be upside down except for the Pittsburgh Penguins, who are up at the top. And the reason why I say upside down, the New York Islanders are sitting in second place, and the Carolina Hurricanes are in second place with 11 points. And then Columbus and Washington are tied with 10 points each. And then New Jersey, Philadelphia, and the New York Rangers coming in at the bottom of the barrel there.
Wow, that sounds pretty bad, man.
Yeah, you want to hear another surprise?
How's that Metropolitan Division looking?
Metropolitan Division looks like it's a little mixed up.
Yeah,
looks like they might have one too many teams in there.
Yeah, I would think so.
It's actually the Atlantic Division that probably has one too many teams in it. We've talked about this before. Jeff, Detroit plays in the Atlantic Division.
Freaking bunch of wackos. Don't get me started on that, man.
All right, then I won't. Tampa Bay Lightning and the Toronto Maple Leafs are tied in top spot of the Atlantic Division. They've got 16 points each. Boston and Montreal are tied with Detroit for 14 points. Then comes Ottawa, Florida, and Buffalo. That's the lay of the land out east. In the West, interesting times for the West Coast. They are off to one of their best starts ever. 10 wins, 1 loss, 1 overtime loss. They've got 21 points in 12 games.
Wow. I'm looking at the standings right now. These teams, what the hell's going on here in the National Hockey League?
There you go. Look closely at San Jose, and do you see something else? Their goals for and goals against are the highest in the NHL. They have a positive goal differential of 28. They have outscored their opponents 48-20 in 12 games.
That's freaking amazing right there.
Yeah, they're perfect at home. They're 5-0-0 at home, and on the road they're 5-1-1. They've been in one each of the shootout games, one where they lost, one where they won it. But San Jose is a very strong team this year, and surprising me is the Vancouver Canucks. I did not expect them to do as well as they have, but they went out east on a 7-game road trip, came back with 11 of a possible 12 points. 14 points rather, only losing one game. They went 5-1-1, and then they won. They beat the Washington Capitals last night again, 3-2. So they are on a 4-game winning streak.
Every time I look at these divisions, I want to shoot Gary Bettman right in the head.
It's just one little fix. We've talked about it. Move Detroit into the Central Division, where Colorado is leading. I don't know if you saw this or not, but unbelievable start under new head coach Patrick Waugh. He's got 10 wins out of his guys so far, 10-1 in 11 games.
I'm looking at that. That's freaking nuts, man.
Yeah, no, it's the early surprise was the Colorado Avalanche by far. I think they went 6 games before they finally lost.
They're 5-1 at home and 5-0 on the road.
Yeah, they lost the one game at home there. That was a bit of a surprise. But Chicago up there as well, 17 points in 12 games. They've lost one on the road, one at home, but they've also had 2 shootout losses at home. So Chicago would like to have a little bit better of a home record. St. Louis started off strong. They've struggled here as of late. They have 14 points in 9 games. The only team in the NHL, by the way, not to have played 10 or more games so far.
Yeah, I'm also looking at San Jose's got the most points, huh? 21.
Yeah, 21. Like they are the surprise team this year, right alongside Colorado. Don't forget, San Jose's got one more game played than Colorado. If Colorado wins their 12th game outright, they'll take over top spot with 22 points.
Wow. How many points you get for a win in hockey?
It's still 2. There's a big discussion. Well, I won't say it's big. Maybe it's a quiet discussion, but it's starting to gain a little bit of momentum. A lot of people want to see a regulation win equal 3 points. The reason why is because they have these shootout losses and these overtime decisions where 3 points are awarded to the 2 teams. The team that loses in overtime or a shootout still gets a single point for the loss, and the team that wins gets 2 points. So if there's 3 points to be had in a game, the discussion, the argument is, why is there not 3 points going to the team that wins in regulation time?
Why do you get a point for losing?
Because you were able to get it to overtime. You got a tie out of the situation through regulation. So you get the single point for the tie through 60 minutes.
Bunch of bull.
Right, but both teams get that tie.
Yeah.
And so the team that wins gets an extra point. So in reality, that means that there's 3 points to be awarded in any game. Any game that's on the schedule right now potentially has 3 points sitting in the basket waiting to be awarded to the 2 teams. And so what the discussion or the argument is, Jeff, and I want to get your thoughts on this, because, I mean, we see other sports that will go to an overtime decision and you don't get that point for that tie unless it's a tie and both teams have a single point. There's only 2 points to be shared between the 2 teams. In hockey, there's potentially 3 points that can be shared between the 2 teams should the winner in regulation be given those 3 points.
Well, I think if you win the game in regulation, you get the 3 points. If you win the game in overtime, screw the overtime winner. No 3 points. You just get freaking the overtime winner gets 1 point. The overtime loser gets nothing.
So if that's the case, then you're taking out the tie. And in essence, that's what the NHL has done. They've taken the tie out of the game. There's no such thing as a tie. If you look at the win-loss chart, right beside it is an overtime column, and that overtime also includes shootout losses and shootout decisions as well. So there is no tie in the win-loss standings anymore. other leagues still have that tie. You can still go to NFL, and even though there's 0 ties for any of the teams in the NFL, they still have the ties as a potential outcome.
That's ridiculous.
So they still have a win and a loss and a tie. But what they don't have is they don't have that overtime decision. So there's only 2 points in the